You may remember a remake of this movie in 1981 with Jack Nicholson and Jessica Lange. Now, as good as they are as actors, it doesn't really get any better than Lana Turner and John Garfield. And I am joined by Julie Garfield, John's daughter, to talk about The Postman Always Rings Twice. But I do want to talk about, again, his acting, because I find that Lana Turner is better in this movie than she is in a lot of her other movies. I mean, she's great and Bad and the Beautiful, fantastic in that film. But I really think that John Garfield is partly responsible for kind of upping her game a little bit. Yeah. Because I don't know that she had worked with an actor quite this deeply involved, you know?
Yeah. I think that probably my father was always looking to make a very interesting choice, you know, not do the typical thing. And also to engage. He engaged head on, always, eyes to eyes. And I think that, you know, that he loved to rehearse, he loved to work on those scenes and say, well, you know, I think maybe this moment, you know, could be like this, so you could be more like that, and, you know, and then I can feed off of that, or that's just what I suspect would go on. And I think that he brought her up, as he did to anybody who worked with him.
Yeah, very, very true.
Because he was so, you know, he was so engaged.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing that would block him from being completely involved.
Right. And what do you think now about your dad's legacy? I mean, and how interesting it is that sort of the film noir revival has certainly brought a resurgence of interest in John Garfield's movies, because he is the film noir era. I mean, it sort of started with his rise, and it sort of ended in a way with He Ran All the Way. At least for this core group of people who were so deeply involved in it. And then with the witch hunt and the whole thing, symbolically, in a way, I sort of think of He Ran All the Way as a stopping point for noir. But he hit the peak with Postman. I mean, that was the zenith of all of this, right?
Yes.
And it's quite a legacy.
It is quite a legacy. And I'm so happy that people are appreciating it. And I hope they continue to appreciate it, because I feel that I see so much acting that I see on television and in film too, where it's not backed by anything. There's nothing going on back there behind the eyes. You know, there are plenty of great actors, don't get me wrong. You know, I think they're wonderful actors, but Daddy had so much going on behind those eyes.
Yeah.
And it was always fascinating to watch that.
Hey, and let's face it, I mean, as an actor in New York in the group theater, and then coming to Hollywood and bringing all that to Hollywood and being a sexy movie star, without John Garfield, without your father, there is no Marlon Brando, there's no Montgomery Clift, there's no James Dean, you know, those kind of raw actors that became so popular. Your dad blazed that trail for them.
Yeah.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for joining us. It has, again, been a pleasure.
Thank you, Eddie.
And thank you for joining us for our final trip through Noir Alley in 2017. But don't worry, I'll be back January 7th with another steamy noir, this one starring George Raft and Virginia Mayo. And don't forget to keep the conversation going over at our Noir Alley Facebook page and on Twitter. And until then, karma will always get you in noir, no matter how beautiful you are.